Hey guys, number one backpack Bubba player here, and today I wanted to talk about BM versus toxicity in video games, but specifically within Dead by Daylight. So BM, or bad manners, and toxicity, which is just toxicity, have kind of become synonymous over the years. And as someone who's played like a lot of competitive games with voice comms, and has seen a lot of the toxic sides, it's interesting to see in Dead by Daylight what a lot of the community can consider toxic, when in reality, and at least in my opinion, it's nowhere close. Now, before I even start, a lot of this is going to be my personal opinion of what everyone else deems as BM or toxic, or what they get offended over, or what they don't. That's up to everyone's own personal opinion. So this is going to be my opinion, and you can feel free to disagree with me, agree with me, make a comment down in the comments. I will try to read it and respond to you, but I'm going to start it off by explaining what the difference between BM and toxicity is, as well as going into more of a definition of the two. So the difference between the two to me, BM is more things that you can do inside the actual game itself without voice comms. Let's take that out of the equation, because at least for Dead by Daylight, that doesn't exist. So if you're inside the game and you do an action that is just kind of disrespectful to the other side, it's not necessarily like rude or toxic, it's just a little bit disrespectful. Toxicity, on the other hand, to me, is things you do outside of the game, things you may say if you're streaming on Twitch, or if you're in a Discord call, things you type in the endgame chat. It's more comments or things that you're posting directly to the other player that isn't just disrespectful anymore, but it's more offensive and rude, or just straight up vile in nature. So to give you guys different examples of these, to me, BM is something like if you're standing at the exit gate waiting for the killer and you just spam teabag. It's not anything too bad, it's just a little bit disrespectful. Some people see flashlight clicking as well. That can also be something that could be BM. Body blocking is kind of like a gray line. Like if you have three players, like if you're in a Swift and you're targeting some random player and you're just like trying to get them killed actively, that could kind of lean into the more toxic side, but it's still not it's not as toxic as I would try to define toxic as. I think a good example of toxicity would be, as I said, something you say either in endgame chat. Yeah, we all know, we've all been there. You guys have all seen something interesting said in endgame chat, whether it's been an insult, it's been a death threat, you've been doxxed, we've all been there. That to me is something that's toxic. Furthermore, even things outside of the game itself, like talking on Twitch. If I am streaming on Twitch and I just played against someone and I am insulting them, berating them, pulling up their profile and just nitpicking everything about them, that's also toxic in my opinion. A great example of this would be the person I made 3 videos about, or even the person that I made the 1 video about. Those are toxic behaviors in my opinion, because if you're doing it into your streaming community, it's also not only toxic to the player that it's getting directed at, but it's also toxic because the members of that community are also going to have harsh opinions on said player or said people. I really wanted to make this video because I've seen a lot of posts, where it be in Discord or on Twitter, but there's a lot of things that people call toxic that just aren't toxic. Or they like, people will call bully squads, like 4 people who are swift up with beamers, and they'll call that toxic behavior. That's not even BM to me, that's just kind of a skill issue in my opinion. That's not even supposed to be a meme. I'm just saying, a lot of times when people get hit with a bully squad, that same bully squad can go up against a killer that's just better, and that bully squad quickly turns into a 4-man slug on the ground squad. One last difference I kind of see between the two, where it comes to BM versus toxicity. When someone BMs you, I think it's completely fine to BM back. If a survivor's teabagging and flashlight clicking and just being disrespectful, you have full permission to smack them on the hook 5 bajillion times until they die. I don't see that as wrong. However, if someone's being toxic to you, if you reciprocate the same toxicity back, I don't think that's a very good vibe, personally. So, to finish things off, I kind of just wanted to put my opinion on the two out there. I don't think BMing is something that's necessarily bad. I think it's kind of funny at times. There have been games where survivors teabagged me, and I've just kind of accepted it and been like, alright, fuck it, let's go. And sometimes I get destroyed, and sometimes I destroy them. But it's kind of funny when you run into someone who's really cocky and already BMing you, and then 2 seconds later they're slugged on the ground. But toxicity is a little different. I don't think toxicity is something that is not bad. I think toxicity is something that we shouldn't have to deal with in video games. I don't think when someone logs onto a game to try to relax after a stressful day, they should have to worry about a risk of someone yelling death threats at them, or telling them slurs. I don't think that's something that we should have to deal with in the gaming community. But that's kind of why I wanted to make this video, is because if we can't separate between BM and toxicity, or what we even define as toxicity, it's kind of hard to cut down on it. Because if one person only considers toxicity people screaming racial profanities in the endgame chat, and one person considers toxicity to just be a four-man Swift who wanted to queue up, it's very hard to say, oh, well, let's cut down on toxicity, because at that point, what is toxicity? So on that note, I'm going to end the video there. Please leave a comment below with what you think about this video. I kind of want to see what everyone's opinions are on just toxicity and BMing in general, and I'd love to discuss it with you. So with that being said, have a good one, guys.